Hi guys, just another quick video about the tool I was making that I'm calling for now Metahuman Offset. I introduced some new feature. Last time we were looking at the, being able to retarget a custom sculpted geometry from ZBrush, or in my case, a combination of photogrammetry and ZBrush. Then I went through and had a look a little bit at the shader and the blood flow maps and how they get triggered. And basically they get triggered in the same way a blend shape weight gets triggered, although this mechanism triggers masks, so we can display on and off certain wrinkle maps. I'm talking about this kind of detail here, which is not just pure geometry but also normal maps. So one thing I wanted to tackle a bit more was the additional geometry, not just the head. So the limitation of the tools right now still is the eyes, but everything else should come through properly, and this will be the eyelashes, the saliva, all the geometry that you find inside here, the teeth, the saliva, the shell, the lashes, the eye edge, and the cartilage. The eyes, I want to do something a little bit more interesting. But anyway, and another thing I wanted to try is basically being able to remap this flat 2D control scheme on top of whatever geometry is the retarget geometry, so the new sculpted shades. So there is a procedure now that let me actually click. There is a procedure now that basically analyzes what is what and remaps the local space of each of this control in a certain way. Some of the controls get combined. Some of the controls are simple as they are, but their local space, their parent space, is actually gets snapped inside the vertex space of the new geometry, which right now is still consistent, meaning that the topology is the same as the source file. Again, I wanted in the future to make this a little bit more interesting, so we can have custom topologies. So you can see that the retargeted mesh still is the weird work I've made with my head. But you can see now, while the texture is loading, hopefully I always have this issue, texture is loading, come on, 3, 2, 1. So you can see that automatically the tools finds the new texture, but the control scheme gets remapped onto something that usually the animator prefer, on face control scheme. So this is the current status of the tool, and these controls, to get the position of these controls, is it depends on how from the mesh that you're applying, meaning that if this was a longer forehead, these controls will be more spread apart. It always checks the closest vertex space. Another thing I want to add in the future is, one thing I don't like is that when I move the jaw, the controls don't follow. So we can simply add a procedure to make the control follow whatever end deformation a geometry has. There are many ways to do that, or maybe potentially just by restructuring the hierarchy of these controls might be enough, so I don't have to evaluate the geometry per frame. But so it might be, it will provide a faster break. Anyway, this is it. Thanks.